Welcome everybody to our June 8th City Commission regular meeting. We will call this meeting to order, and it's our first regular City Commission meeting in these chambers, so it's so nice to see all these people, so thank you for coming. And I just have to say that, we're all just sort of getting used to all this new equipment and where to put our stuff. It's a little discombobulating, so just bear with us. We have to turn our mics on and off. That's like a whole thing that we never had to do before. So, but we'll get the hang of it. But we've got some good stuff tonight. But before we get started, I just wanted to let any folks here know that are here for the Fenway Development Agreement. I am going to be requesting, it's not been voted on yet, but I'm going to be requesting a postponement / tabling of the item because we have gotten a lot of concerns emailed to all of us. And again, that's not been voted on yet, but in case there will be no staff presentation or anything like that, so you are more than welcome to stay. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to get out if you needed to, go do something fun. So now we'll move into our invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to invite our Girl Scout troop up. So come on and stand up with us, if everybody would please rise. You guys just stand right there. Okay. Jennifer Cowan, would you lead us in the invocation, and then the Girl Scout troop will lead us in the pledge.
Certainly. As we begin this meeting, let us take a moment to reflect together in silence and offer gratitude to those who have served this community and this country. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Ladies, our flag is right there. Go ahead, somebody start saying it. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yay! Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. So, Commissioner Franey, did you want to just say a little bit about the tour that you gave our Girl Scout troop? You and Jennifer?
There you go. See, the girls learned how to turn the microphones on really easily, but I have a feeling we'll screw up a lot tonight.
We keep screwing it up.
Anyway, yes, so we had the Girl Scout troop here today, and they were able to do a tour of City Hall. They were getting their government service badge, and so they learned a lot today, but we learned a lot too, because we learned, I think, how important it is to keep our kids aware of what's going on in our community and let them ask questions. They had some interesting discussions. They got to make some decisions. They got to sit in these chairs for a little bit and decide what were more important things to replace. A city hall, a library, or a pool. Should we keep dogs on, should we let dogs on all parts of the beach or not? They unanimously said no, dog beach is enough. We need to keep the other dogs off the rest of the beach. But they made some good decisions and worked as a team, and we were proud to have them. And of course, our city manager could be a tour guide because she did an awesome job. But anyway, we welcome more kids groups because I think the more we bring our kids into the process, the better we are. So I'm just glad.
Well, thank you for putting that together.
Christine Lay is the one that got it all started, the troop leader, and she's amazing. And I was just so glad she reached out to do this. So
Well,
thank you, Christine.
and they've also asked to do a community project.
Yes, that's right.
Which is pretty cool for kids that age, so we're really excited about that. They're going to work with our city manager on that, so thank you guys for coming. Are you guys leaving?
Some of the parents have to go, but some of them
Okay, yep, whatever you want to do. We won't be here that long because everything's getting postponed.
And the kids got their parting gifts, I take it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, well, thank you for coming. All right, now we're going to go into presentations. Our first presentation, of course, is our LGBTQ+ month proclamation. I'm going to turn that over to Commissioner Franey, and I know that we have our chamber folks here.
Right, so Pam Pravis is going to be accepting the proclamation, head of the chamber. Anybody else you want to come up, that's up to you. I see you've got your multicolored rainbow top on. That's awesome.
Yay.
That's great. Okay, so LGBTQ+ Pride Month 2023. Whereas all are welcome in the city of Dunedin to live, work, play, and retire. Every family deserves a place to call home where they're safe, happy, and supported by friends and neighbors. And whereas a number of LGBTQ plus historical events and people of all races have contributed to the history of equality for all people, and whereas each year the month of June honors the 1969 Stonewall riots in Manhattan and the struggle for basic civil rights for the LGBTQ plus community, to remind all cultures within our wider community of the important roles LGBTQ plus people have taken in shaping the social, historical, legal, and political worlds we live in today. And whereas Pride Month affords a special opportunity to become more knowledgeable about LGBTQ plus history and to honor the many LGBTQ plus American leaders who have contributed to the progress of our nation. And whereas the City of Dunedin has a strong history of honoring inclusivity, we value the contributions the LGBTQ plus citizens bring to the city and pride ourselves on our diversity. And whereas the LGBTQ plus community has made great strides forward, but equality, inclusion, and acceptance have not yet been fully achieved, we must practice these values and teach them to future generations. Now, therefore, I, Maureen Mofrani, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Mayor of the City of Dunedin, Florida, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim June 2023 to be LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Dunedin and call upon our community to respect, honor, and celebrate our diverse community and to continue building a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance of the LGBTQ plus community. Comments, absolutely.
Yes, please.
There's some comments, that'd be great.
And I think we're supposed to stand up to get a picture with her.
Can you hear
after.
me? Okay. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to the City Commission for supporting the Chamber and the community with the Pride Month and celebration of Pride. As the home of the Visitor Center, which is, the busiest visitor center in Pinellas County, we are known for welcoming. And the one thing, even last week, I got messages, I had people call me to tell me what a welcoming city Dunedin is. People appreciate our diversity, our acceptance, and our ability to welcome everyone. And so for that, I thank you for helping to support us and make it possible and make Dunedin a wonderful place to live. Thanks.
And Pam, maybe you want to direct people to where they can go find out about all the events that you're having that you're hosting this month. Where would that be?
Announce some of the events.
Go back and announce some of the events and tell them where they can go find all the information about the events.
Okay, now I'm supposed to tell you how to find all the information about the events. You can go to our website, DunedinFL.com. You can go to DunedinPride.com. We have a calendar of events that's up there now of everything that's going on starting this next Friday, a week from tomorrow. Many things are selling out, so if you haven't made a reservation, please do so quickly. And we are getting for the gala, which is one of the first events on the 17th, which should be a load of fun. We need to get our numbers in the next couple of days, so please act. But there are many businesses that have joined in. There are some that have decided to sponsor at the last minute. Please support them. Please go visit them, and please thank them. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
have anything else?
Yeah, we're going to do a picture.
Okay.
Just turn around. Or she. Yeah, we're going to just stand behind you.
It's the new way we're doing this, Pam. This is the new thing.
So I need to get out of your way, probably. Yeah, you need to come towards me. So if I could? I
Yes,
just had
please.
one comment. I saw this on Facebook, and I just thought it was too important not to say. Sometimes, why do we raise the pride flag? Why is it important to kind of try to validate? And I saw this on Facebook, and it just spoke to me. Pride is important because somewhere out there is a confused teenager who still thinks maybe being dead is better than being gay. That's not okay.
That's right. Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for all your work on these events the last 2 years. I know for us, you've been our liaison to the Chamber, who has been wonderful to kind of take on doing these events, and of course, our Parks and Rec people have been involved, and our staff have been involved, but it's the Chamber and community members that have done the bulk of the work, and you've been right there with them on their committee and guiding them, and we appreciate your representation on our behalf.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. The next presentation is the John Doglione Scholarship Award. And I am going to turn that over to Commissioner Gao, who is our school liaison. And I just want to say something really quick before you get started, Jeff. If you don't know this, we're a very unique city. We're the only city out of 24 in Pinellas County that has an official school liaison. If you don't know, we don't have any control over the school system. It's run by a separate board. But we have, 13 schools within our borders? Something to that effect? And we believe that it is that important to have at least one of us around showing them that Dunedin cares about their abilities and what they're accomplishing and what they're doing. It's something that Commissioner Eggers actually brought forward. And I've served at that. I thought I saw former Commissioner Kynes. She also served at that. And Commissioner Gao has served at that. All of our principals in our school are so proud that they're in Dunedin because they have this connection to our government. How can they use our buildings? How can they use our parks for their education system? How can they connect with our arts center? How can they connect with our history museum? And I just think that's awesome. And Jeff has taken it to a whole new level because he goes to every chorus concert, every band performance. And when you're talking about that many schools, I mean, I thought I was pretty impressive when I did it. Oh, no. He's got it covered. So I before you go into this really important thing that you'll explain, I want to give him a little bit of kudos because he does a really great job representing us. So thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was trying to promise not to make the new City Hall, I was going to try to make it a cry-free zone. Yeah, I know. Listen, there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful things about being a commissioner, and everybody should do this job. It is fantastic. So blessed to have it, so blessed to have it in the community where I do have it. But amongst all the functions that we do, as the mayor so eloquently put, is the role of liaison to the schools. And what is happening inside of our schools is so incredibly important. But what I wanted to do first was kind of tag off of what the mayor said and talk a little bit about this award and how the whole process works a little bit, because we should never forget. I want to talk a little bit, I wanted to mention John Doglione, the person whom the scholarship is named. John Doglione gave so much to this community. Over 15 years as commissioner and mayor. He worked on so many boards and committees. He worked really hard, but where his passion really was, it was in the community. It was especially in our youth and what was going on in our schools. He worked incredibly hard with the NJROTC program at Dunedin High School. And it was his passion for government, his passion for the citizens of this city and the youth of Dunedin High School that it just deemed appropriate to rename the scholarship in his name. So I just think it's important to continue that and remember where it came from. I'm going to try not to. So thank you, John Doglione, for your commitment to our community. I also want to thank the Dunedin Youth Guild for all that they do for the youth in our community. The Dunedin Youth Guild does all the heavy lifting with this scholarship program. And the whole process, the application process, they keep moving forward. They do interviews with all the candidates. And there are so many candidates. There's, again, so many things are happening in our schools. I want to acknowledge Susie Gizzi. Is it Susie? Are you here this evening? All right, Susie, if you could just come forward and just say a few words about the Dunedin Youth Guild and her team, because it does take a team to get through this. And just tell us a little bit about Dunedin Youth Guild, what they do with this program.
Okay. I'm here with Terry Trudell and Claudia Walker. They're members of the Dunedin Youth Guild, and we're very happy to be in partnership with the city to administer this John Doglione Public Service Award Scholarship. Basically, we put an application process together, and we interview the students, and we give the information to Commissioner Gao, and he goes through the scholarships, and he picks who he would feel is most privileged to get this award. This was our 49th scholarship luncheon and fashion show, and that's how we raised the money for the scholarships, as well as we have had some private donors that have given money for scholarships. So this year we awarded over $50,000. So that was pretty amazing. And that is it.
Thank you, Susie, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, lady.
Now, for me, the scholarship process allows for the opportunity to see all the amazing learning opportunities that are occurring in Dunedin High School. It makes it even a little bit more proud just being an alumni of the school. So go Falcons, class of '79, best class ever.
Class of 83 is the best class, thank you very much. We can fight about
I
that.
don't know if that's wonderful or just hearing all those old numbers.
Yeah.
God, anything that's got a
Well,
nine-
yours is the oldest, so.
anything that's got a
Just
19
saying.
in it, what was that? This process allows the ability to see the drive, the passion, and the enthusiasm, the youthful idealism in our young people that moves us through society. I encourage everyone to support our young people in our schools. Now, the reason we are here tonight, I was honored to interview all those applications, and Finn Kellum was the student most represented in the scholarship's namesake. And I know that you all think that Finn Kellum, the name alone is cool enough to be awarded a scholarship. But Finn has done some amazing things. And I asked Finn before the meeting, could kind of sit for a little bit so he didn't feel so awkward standing up in front all by himself. But some of Finn's accomplishments, just to let you know, he's graduating with a GPA of 3.8. He took 18 honor, AP, and dual enrollment classes. He's a member of the National Honor Society. He's a member of the Dunedin High School Band. The instruments he plays are, and I only listed two, the saxophone and the bagpipes. But within the saxophone family is the Barry sax and all the other siblings in that group. So it's quite amazing. Within the band program, he was band captain, and he was the pipe major for the pipe band. He was a member of the All-County Band and Orchestra, as well as the All-County Concert Band and Symphonic Orchestra. He led the pipe band to a first-place finish at the Southeast Florida Scottish Festival of Highland Games in Fort Lauderdale. His extracurricular activities include tutoring at Dunedin Middle School, both saxophone and bagpipes. He's worked at McDonald's and Southern Q, which allowed him to save up to buy his own instrument and car. Go Mom for that. His college of choice is the University of South Florida. Go Bulls. And his attended major is biology. Now, within his application, I didn't really know where to fit this in tonight's talk, but the fact that within his biology focus, he has aquariums, goodness, can't even read my own writing, other stuff.
It's okay.
And he has other stuff, and he's even got a garden. My apologies, Finn. So it's Finn's balance of academic achievements, his leadership, service, and musical excellence that makes him worthy of the recognition and scholarship. So if everyone could please help me welcome Finn Kellum. And after this, I'm not sure really what we do, so any guidance would be wonderful. I'd like a picture with Finn. I think because this is a representation from the city, I do think it's important that we get the same type of picture that we did with Pam, and then anything else.
Do we have a big check?
We do have a check.
Well, then that's what you need to
We do
present
have
to
a
that
check.
boy.
It's important, and I'll do
Tell
that.
everybody what you're giving him.
What? Give him a big check, $2,000.
That's okay. You could come down and you can stand in front with him, and then we'll stand up. Yeah, get a picture of them, and then we'll stand up. Yeah, no, you're staying with him.
I just have a few words here. Good evening, Mayor Bujalski, Vice Mayor Tornga, Manager Bradley, Commissioners Jeff Gow, Freeney, and Walker, and my fellow Dunedin neighbors. It's a real honor to be here to receive this award. I've been born and raised in the city, and I'm proud to see that we live in a community that honors, supports education and their youth. This scholarship is proof that Dunedin invests in the next generation. Thank you to my friends, family, and teachers who have shaped me into the person I am today. Thank you to the City of Dunedin and the Dunedin Youth Guild for this award. I'm very excited to continue being a member of the City of Dunedin Pipe Band while attending University of South Florida. I'm thankful to live in a community right next to Hammock Park and the Honeymoon Island that first sparked my interest in biology. So thank you.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Looks like a good choice to me.
Well, and former Mayor John Doglione was all about leadership, and it certainly looks like that's what you've been creating all through your high school years, so thank you for that. And I did want to point out something very interesting about the three gals that came up for the Youth Guild. If you ladies would just stand for a quick sec. Okay, so Susie, the gal that spoke, is the wife of Vince Gizzi, our Parks and Rec director. Terry Trudell is our former assistant director, right? Something to that effect.
Pretty much.
Leadership, a lifetime of leadership in our Parks and Rec department, who has since retired. And Claudia Walker is the wife of Commissioner Walker. So the ladies are getting it. Thank you.
She's done other things just than get
Oh,
him-
yeah,
and help
no,
him
I mean,
elected.
they all have a life of their own for sure, but, you know, it's a family affair, and giving back to the community is what I'm trying to say, and we thank you for that, and the entire Youth Guild. You may not know this, but the Youth Guild has been around for a very long time, and they were giving scholarships when I was in high school back in the ancient days, so, long time. So, thank you, ladies. Okay, and our last presentation is our Juneteenth proclamation, and I am going to give that over to Vice Mayor Tornga.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, would you please step forward? Allow me to present this proclamation to you.
I'll stand with Dr. Small.
Please.
She has to speak.
Juneteenth, 2023. Whereas our nation was conceived on July 4th, 1776, with the Declaration of Independence, which includes a statement, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And whereas on January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state shall be thenceforward, and forever free. And whereas, almost 2.5 years later, on June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of both the Civil War and slavery. And whereas, beginning in 1866, Texans celebrated Juneteenth with community-centric events such as parades, cookouts, prayer gatherings, historical and cultural readings, and musical performances. And whereas, Juneteenth is the oldest national celebrated commemoration of the day slavery officially ended in the United States. And whereas, the celebration of Juneteenth reminds each of us of the precious promise of freedom, equality, and opportunity for all, which are the core of the Declaration of Independence. And whereas we celebrate our success towards achieving that ideal, we also recognize that there is still work to do to ensure that our nation exemplifies that ideal. And whereas today millions of Americans of all races, creeds, and religious and ethnic backgrounds commemorate Juneteenth, which not only celebrates freedom, but also acknowledges the achievements and contributions of African Americans. And whereas Juneteenth will be celebrated in the city of Dunedin with various events and activities, including an Employee in-Service Day and community events, to provide Dunedin residents and city employees the opportunity to learn and to celebrate like so many others throughout our nation. Now, therefore, I, John Torniga, by virtue of the authority invested in me by the Mayor of the City of Dunedin, Florida, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby declare June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth Day in the City of Dunedin, and urge our citizens to become more aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation and city. If you would come forward to accept, and we'll take a photo.
Comments first?
Yeah, we'll get
Comments
her
first,
comments
and then,
first,
yeah,
and
then
then
we'll
we'll
take
do the picture. Welcome, Teresa.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. You're good, you're doing good. Wow. This hasn't happened before, but.
We're all crying today. We're right there with you, honey. It's an emotional day.
On behalf of our employees and the African American community, I thank the Commission for taking the time to recognize this milestone. And also recognizing that there is still work to do, and that we're different colors, creeds, we have different complexions, but we all have the same aspirations. We are as patriotic as the next person, and we want the best for our country, for this nation. And just as it says, the Declaration of Independence is for all. And until all are truly free or feel that freedom, then we're not really free. So I thank you for this.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, I just want to thank you very much for the proclamation and for allowing us to have our Employee in Service Day. City Hall will be closed on that day, and many of our facilities. It's a week from today. And we are actually going to do our in-service day in the morning, and we are doing Habitat for Humanity, Dunedin Cares. We are planting flowers, we're picking up garbage, we're out in the community in all offices throughout the organization. And then we're going to get together for lunch, and we're going to talk about diversity. We're going to talk about the different backgrounds that all of us came from to be here, to be together. We're going to talk especially about the differences in those backgrounds and share with each other. So I'm very, very pleased with the program that a committee of our employees has put together for Juneteenth for our in-service day, but especially to Dr. Smalling, her efforts have been amazing. I mean, working night and day, literally on the Juneteenth event, as well as the class and comm study, which is very important to all of us as well. So I'm just very grateful to Dr. Smalling for all that she's done to bring diversity and inclusiveness to our organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. For any of you here listening or watching on TV, I loved that we had our several proclamations that really stated the same thing. And that is that our community believes that we accept all walks of life, no matter what age you are, what color skin you are, what sexuality, what religion. We love you and we accept you and embrace you here. And I think that's really important and is a huge mantra in the city of Dunedin. I really appreciate that. Okay, now is the time for citizen input. Anyone wishing to come forward to speak on any topic that is not already on the agenda, please feel free to do so. We have a clock right there that gives you your 3 minutes, and please give us your name and address for the record when you come forward. Hey, David.
Hi, good morning, Mayor, or good evening, Mayor.
That's okay.
Board. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live at Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. Article 1, Section 5 of the U.S. Constitution has a secrecy clause written into it, which calls into question what is the secrecy in and of this Constitution, further calling into question the capture of water seen as reprisal in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11, further recognized as a letter of marque, shining light to a ship of war conducting a so-called peacetime operation in Article 1, Section 10. So what we have constituted here is a secret concerning captures of water, recognized as a ship of war, seen as a letter of marque, acknowledged as a reprisal of such, and that this secret wartime ship is hoping to birth itself under the 14th Amendment as a water jurisdiction, hoping to emancipate itself with privileges and immunities as enumerated from Article 1, Section 2. Now, John Adams, our second president, once said that the British feel enslaved under the current form of government that we have currently today. So is it that the British are hoping to emancipate themselves as individual, independent water jurisdictions, assailed as a ship of war in its capture of water held in constitutional secrecy, assumed as a letter of marque, as recognized? Is this constitutional secret of such considered to be a political blackout operation, a political black life that matters? This whole Juneteenth media stunt in reality is a political black life that matters. And it's the life of the British political blackout operation that is what really is in the matter of this political blackout issue, isn't it, with Juneteenth? Is the black race of the civilian population being made a mockery of politically again? in such political deception, such political blackout operation held in secrecy in Article 1, Section 5, concerning captures of water, hoping to emancipate itself as a water jurisdiction under the 14th Amendment, is nonetheless a constitutional mockery of mankind beyond a reasonable doubt, as declared, as self-evident, as constituted. And here are my findings.
Thank you, David. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak? Please give us your name and address for the record.
Just have to adjust
And you
to
got
my
your
height.
clock right there.
Gotcha. My name is Pat Krupa. I live at 2100 Gulfview Boulevard in Dunedin. My husband and I have lived here with our children for at least 42 years now. So we've been through many administrations and city council people over the years. We wanted to summarize for you the activity that has been going on regarding Sterling Park. In 2020, there was a meeting about the closing of the golf course there, and the decision was made to keep it green. There was an article that I'm going to give to the clerk to copy that actually quotes Vince Gizzi. We have a beautiful property off Palm Boulevard, beautiful trees, right now looking at making walking paths and keeping it passive. He also said, from a parks and recreation standpoint, you have such beautiful property, people who live in the neighborhood love to see it, and have beautiful trees and grass. Gizzi said it would be a showplace if we enhance the ponds, add some bridges to the ponds, and fitness equipment around the walking trails. And lastly, Jorge Quintas, Director of Public Works and Utilities and the city engineer, told the commissioners the city could clean out, upgrade, and expand the pond system on the property to provide water quality improvements along with connecting to Curlew Creek. We could leverage stormwater dollars to make the park improvements. Vince will be very happy if he gets a park built of stormwater improvement dollars. The officials said they wanted public input. We have a terrific excitement about the park, and we want input. So that never happened. And in the meantime, since 2020, our beautiful Sterling Park has been devastated. Trees and shrubs have been ripped out. It is brown. It is ugly. And on top of that, all of the fronds and all of the ponds, which are the home to the wildlife that inhabit there and are state and federally protected, all the fronds were removed. No one will tell us who did it and why they did it. And we still don't have that answer. At that meeting, we had at least 200 people there. And most of the people who attended, there was not one person who spoke for a dog park in Sterling Park. Most of the people spoke about keeping it green. There were a few people from pickleball, but we have many, many people in our 4 neighborhoods, Weybridge and Fairway Estates, Dunedin Isles, and St. Andrews Links, who play pickleball, and some in our group even teach pickleball. What the pickleball community is asking for is a dedicated facility where they can teach, have tournaments, and have a place to play when the weather is so hot that they can't. We've also had some people actually monitor the activity at the tennis courts in Highlander Park and have documented for I don't know how many days. And all of that was forwarded to the commissioners, but we've not had any response on that. So we were invited to a quote-unquote planning meeting in January. And at that meeting, it was not a planning meeting at all. It was, we're going to tell you what it's going to be, but we'll call it a planning meeting.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak on any item that's not on the agenda?
Steve Beatty, 1050 Prestwick Place, Dunedin, Florida. I'm here to propose that we start charge parking in downtown Dunedin. No. So it's much easier than that. So now we got that behind us. Now I'm here to speak about, so now it's simple, is the country club and the Dunedin, well, I guess it's actually officially the golf club now, is keeping it open. Not the golf course part, but the actual country club. And remodeling that internal part if you need to in phases, I think will be better suited. It's like if you were a private business, you would never shut down for 5-6 months. That's probably going to become a year. And you don't get your clientele back. Because I frankly will tell you, I don't want incentives or whatever. I happen to be a member only because Mike Bowman twisted my arm, 2 or 3 years ago. But once I get used to not coming there and going to other places to eat, it's going to be hard for me to pay the extra money and decide to come back. So I'm just really pitching that. Instead, I recommend, why don't we bring in some virtual golf machines? I've got a couple other members that would gladly, with me, sponsor some Friday night bands to come in there and play outside and play, and actually make it more of a focal point for our citizens during that remodel of the course phase, and turn that place into more of an events haven during that time as we're remodeling it, pitching to them why they should join, and you don't have to join. We take people over there all the time, and most people don't understand that it's the same price, basically. I think we get like 7% off or something if you remember. Plus you get the extra tip line. So it actually costs you more if you remember, not less to eat there. But yeah, frankly, I think we'd be much better suited to keep the place open. I know you had some hearings, and I unfortunately was out of town and missed those, so I apologize for bringing it up here, but I thought with the open mic time I would bring tonight and just, strongly suggest that we look at that. I'll gladly help however you want or others to with that. But like I said, there's quite a few of us I've spoken to, and we're willing to put, money into Friday nights or Saturday nights, whatever, everyone feels best, to bring some bands there and bring more focus. For what I know with the financials, it has been funding in itself in the eatery. At least that's what I've seen on the financials. But maybe I'm not getting the full story on them, so I think we'd be better suited to keep that open, keep membership, bring in some virtual golf machines where you can play other courses while the course is shut down, and turn it into a little bit of a positive. Again, can't thank you enough. I will say the other thing I would say, what's great about Dunedin when I travel around the country, many of you know I travel a lot, we're what makes Pride, diversity, Juneteenth, we're the city that makes that great, because you know why? We don't have to talk about it here to make it happen. I always explain that to everyone else. You go in other cities and they have to have big events, big flags, big this, big that. It just happens every day here. And that's why I love this city. And thank all of you for serving. I know it's always tough. I know decisions are tough. Appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, anyone else? Please give us your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name's Mary Beth Carroll. I live at 1294 Milano Circle, Dunedin, Florida. And it's a privilege to be here. I've only spoken before the commission one prior time. At the time, my Rotary Club was doing the Heart of Dunedin event prior to COVID. I had the chance to work on that very closely and honor 13 people who represent 13 organizations in Dunedin at the time. And that event was sponsored by the Dunedin North Rotary Club, a Rotary Club to which Vice Mayor Tornga, Commissioner Walker, Steve might have been a member at one point, Principal Chris Bates, former principal from Highland Middle School, and many other people who have had civic engagement as just the core of their fiber were part of that event. I've been in the Dunedin Golf Club more than 500 times, not because I was there for public enjoyment or dinners as much as I would like to be, but that's how many times my club has met there in the 10 years that I've been a member. And now that the other Dunedin club is also meeting there, I would like to dovetail with Steve's comments that if there's a way that the public can make it work, that the city can make it work, that we can help you make it work to be able to keep the clubhouse available during the time that the golf course itself is just expanded, it would be a tremendous gift so that we can keep the momentum of so many people who care about Dunedin. Not just me, not just Chris, not just Steve, but that momentum happens from us being there every single week and knowing that we can really count on each other to get things done for the city. So, as I said, it's a dovetail situation. I understand you have so many things to deal with. 40 years ago, I was on the Sandusky, Ohio City Commission. And that's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but it's not, because Chuck Crosman was the country club manager of Plumbrook Country Club in Sandusky, Ohio, at the same time I was on the Sandusky City Commission. He had to keep my kids from stealing mints at the side door. They've turned out to be good citizens. They've turned out to respect and understand what's really important in life. And I think just these whole quality of life issues that we can see in many different directions are just so valuable as we look at the cumulative benefit that we can have. That won't happen if it closes. People will spread to the winds. So I'm very hopeful that something can be done, and if there's a way I can help, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I appreciate your applause, but during citizen input, we don't allow applause or booing because we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable about what they're coming forward to say if you don't agree or if you agree. So if you please respect that, thank you.
I did want to say go Cedar Point. Send us.
Okay, name and address for the record.
Hi, Doug Campbell, 318 President Street, Dunedin. I've never spoken before the commission before.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I am the incoming president of the Dunedin North Rotary Club, and for selfish reasons, we're asking that you consider keeping the clubhouse open. We have met there for years, even through COVID. We supported the club and we were there every Wednesday morning for breakfast. We have about 45 to 50 members. If we have to find another venue, my fear is we may not go back to the golf club when it reopens. Just last month, we had a golf tournament at the club. Chuck was an amazing ally with the Rotary Club. And just this Wednesday, we gave out over $16,000 to local charities as a result of that tournament. I don't know that any other venue would have been so cooperative as the Dunedin Club was. So, and on a selfish note, I don't want to have to go find another place to go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So,
No problem. We hear you.
just consider keeping
Yeah.
the clubhouse open. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward?
Hi, I actually thought about opening with a joke, but I decided it's been such a sweet night I shouldn't do that.
Give us your name and address for the record.
Dale Boggs, 250 New York Avenue. Hello, my name is Dale Boggs.
Welcome.
And because I have 3 minutes, I'm going to read. Speaking for myself and Dwayne Wright, I just want to say we're not like the kind of people who complain and then you never see or hear from us again. We've been involved between the two of us. We've put in about 20 years on committees. So we've done a lot. And I really am frustrated that I feel like I need to say this because it has been a very sweet meeting. And we've been accepting as the gay community, which I proudly have my pride colors on. Juneteenth, God, am I thankful we're doing that. But the reality is there's still a group of people in Dunedin that I have represented passionately, as I know the mayor knows and some of the others. I mean, I'd like to compliment you guys on the discriminating building that you have. But the problem is, it's still discriminating against the people who need accessibility. We still have issues that are not being met. We have things that have been done wrong. And that's very frustrating to me that it's not a priority. Dunedin has many talented individuals who've committed their entire careers to developing skills, and then they've moved here, and we get to take advantage of those on our committees. But yet, way too often, we don't feel that the commission takes advantage of that. I mean, we've got people with incredible resumes behind them, and we ignore them. I gave the mayor the heads up a year or so ago about a problem with the disability committee, that there was talk of a massive walkout. And I don't know if you've noticed, but 50% of the committee walked out. People aren't feeling heard. I'm going to run out of time, guys. But anyway, we spent $20 million on this building, and it's not friendly to the ADA. If you roll into that bathroom right back there with a wheelchair and try to do a side transfer onto the toilet, you're going to hit your head on a towel rack. That's a violation. Dwayne Wright, who is not only an architect, He is a certified, I may have to look at this one because I don't want to get it wrong, but he's certified for disability coordinator, national certification. There's not a lot of those around, and there's very few that are architects. Totally cool people.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Okay.
And thank you, Dale. Appreciate your feedback, both of you. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to an item not already on the agenda?
Hello, my name's Roby. I live on Yale Avenue in Dunedin. Thank you for the opportunity to share this evening. Our Sterling Park Neighborhood Group has asked me to recap and speak to the status of our Park and Recreation Department's January 4th recommendation to build pickleball courts and a fenced dog park on the 5 acres of green space adjacent to Palm Boulevard. From the very outset of that presentation, that same evening, in fact, dozens of citizens spoke to the negative impact such a project would create to the habitat and quality of life for the wildlife and 90-plus homes adjacent and across the street from the location. Probably 1,500 citizens are within a 2 to 3 minute walk to the park, and the huge majority do not want to have any construction occur. They express the desire to leave the space as green as possible and support any of the alternatives that have been suggested. Remember, we don't have to do anything. It's okay to leave it a green park. There's been stormwater suggestions, Veterans Memorial Park suggestions, the community gardens. In the months from that initial public meeting, more of the nearby neighborhoods have become aware of the recommendation, and we've been working together to document reasons why this construction is the wrong decision for the park. We have shared those facts with you, the commissioner, city manager, mayor, and in an attempt to find a solution, even had the opportunity to share with our parks director a study our team completed of documented and measured out possible locations for other pickleball courts. It was a nice piece of work, even Vince agreed. This is a great demonstration of city management and citizens working together. Note, our team also performed a usage study of the courts over a 17-day period, and we found just a few times when pickleball players were waiting. I think if we just designated a few of the tennis courts to be pickleball, that immediate demand could be alleviated for a while. Early in January, Jennifer, our city manager, agreed to put a hold on the usage decision, and thank you. This gave us more time and everyone an opportunity to more properly review options. In those months, we have become better educated on our city's comprehensive plan, engaged with several of our city advisory groups of Park and Rec, Stormwater, Coastal Waterways, and involved other local organizations, most specifically the VFW and the Legion, for their support in keeping the space green. Most importantly, we have documented that building the pickleball and fenced dog park on this property is in direct conflict with the future land use, conservation and preservation, and low-impact development goals as written in the city comprehensive plan, which has been referenced by our mayor as the Bible to reference when making such land use decisions. These conflicts are really issues or violations of 5 of the major objectives and 13 different policies in the comprehensive plan. As stated previously, we've also worked with the appropriate groups to document the vision, support, and content of a Veterans Honor Park. We have also discussed that includes stormwater education features. As someone mentioned, this is an item that our assistant city manager had brought up 3 years ago.
Thank you very much.
In closing, please keep these in mind when we're coming near our decision. I would like to also suggest to use our group. We have lots of skills and energy to help in any way possible.
Thank you very much.
Let's continue to work together. It's okay to take more time to vet out the proper use of this gem of 5 green historic acres in our delightfully different Dunedin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Can we take a picture now?
No. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that is not on the agenda?
Hello,
Welcome.
good evening. My name is Gary Chaplin. I live at 508 Gilbert Street in Clearwater. I also heard a rumor that the clubhouse on the Dunedin Golf Course was going to close after February 29th, 2024, and perhaps not open for a long period of time, or until the golf course has reopened for play in late 2024. This is a request to keep the clubhouse open for business during that time and continue to serve those visiting the clubhouse. For brief background, my mother's father, Jake Nauman, moved to Dunedin with his family in 1968 as his company, Bay West, was contracted to build Innisbrook. My father, John Chaplin, came to the local area as the president of Wadsworth Golf Construction Company to build the golf courses at Innisbrook. After a period of time, my mother, Marcia Nauman, and my father, John Chaplin, married and have lived in Dunedin for over 50 years, where he continued to serve as president at Wadsworth Golf Construction Company, a golf course builder. While building and redeveloping more than 800 golf courses in the U.S., Guam, Japan, Philippines, and Hawaii, we know of no reason to close the clubhouse during this time, and that there are a number of clubhouse clients, Dunedinites, who would like to continue to use the clubhouse during this time, which is often the case when a course is closed down for play. Other residents in the area are requesting the same. So our request is to please keep the clubhouse open for business during most, if not all, of the reconstruction of the Dunedin Golf Course. This would be helpful and accommodating to our residents and Dunedinites. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that's not already on the agenda? Give us your name and address for the record.
Matthew Werner, 2276 Gulfview Boulevard, and I'm here to speak about Sterling Park also. You've had several people up here talking about it from our neighborhood group, our Sterling Park neighborhood group, and the reason is because we know that a decision will be coming soon about Sterling Park, and we want to remind you about the proposals that we have been supporting for Sterling Park. Those proposals are a stormwater education park and a Veterans Memorial Park. When the meeting on January 4th, the community input meeting for Sterling Park was first announced, and we had that meeting, our neighborhood group got together and decided that we would like to support something for that park, and we came up with the stormwater education park and a Veterans Memorial Park. We have been advocating for that for the past 6 months. We have come before the commission many times. You have seen many of our faces here advocating for it. We have given you many documents in support of that. You have probably seen some of those documents, and by the way, if you've misplaced any of them, we'll be glad to replace any of them for you. So we wanted to remind you that we are for the issues of a stormwater education park and a Veterans Memorial Park. We are opposed to the dog park and the pickleball courts because they are not compatible with what we support for Sterling Park. They're not compatible with Sterling Park itself, and we have given you lots of evidence, both orally before the commission and in documents that we've given to you. So what we're asking you is to simply look at the information that we've given you and sincerely evaluate what we have given you when you have to make this decision, because we think the decision will be coming soon, a recommendation will be coming before the commission. And we ask that you look at this material that we have given you in your evaluation. Our proposals are consistent with the epic goals of Dunedin. They're consistent and support the comprehensive plan of Dunedin. And they are inclusive for everybody in Dunedin, not just a few small groups of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that is not on the agenda?
My name is Gary Krupa, 2100 Gulfview Boulevard, Dunedin, and I'm here to speak about Sterling Park. Been a resident here since 1981, and I've seen all the ebbs and flows of park issues over the years, and there have been many, including the purchase of that very property, which was controversial way back when. I am a disabled Vietnam vet, belong to the VFW as well as the Legion, and I wholeheartedly support doing something with that property. primarily because it has historical significance, as some of you may know. There was an airfield there, amphibious vehicles were developed here, and there was a barracks on that site at one time. So it would be appropriate to, as we have the VFW, shall we say the south part. We have American Legion, Midpoint. If we had something there, it'd be wonderful to maybe start an event. Could be a race, it could be whatever, family events. Start at one end of the city, culminate at the northern end of the property. So I wish you would consider viewing that for veterans. Now, having said that, something I've learned in the last 21 months in 3 major surgeries, one that was self-inflicted, the present one, that it takes a lot to rehabilitate. And primarily with lower body, that means you have to walk, and you have to walk a lot. Trail isn't conducive for it. Even when I'm in good shape and using the trail, I'm about to get run over by bicycles, skateboards, whatever. That property next to us could very easily be developed as something that could be used. And we speak ADA compliance, we speak about diversity. That could be done very easily with that park. I have neighbors in wheelchairs. It'd be wonderful for them. It'd be wonderful for people that are elderly, and really all they need to do is walk. There aren't safe places here. Hammock Park doesn't lend itself to it. Weaver doesn't lend itself to it. Highlander doesn't lend itself to it. Hammock doesn't lend itself to it. So if you look at what we have great parks, if you're healthy. If you're not healthy, where do you go? And you risk getting run over. I mean, when I don't have this, I'm pretty agile. And I'm here to tell you, I've got to have my wits about me walking on that trail and that from between Palm Boulevard and Curlew Road. It's a bugger. And for people that aren't agile, it's tough. So please consider these things, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to come forward?
Thank you. My name is Virginia Lamberton, and I live at 2286 Gulfview Boulevard. I'm just here to say two things very briefly. And one is that in April, I sent you all an email about something that I had read in the Gladys Douglas Preserve literature about how dogs were not going to be allowed to be in that area because of their feces and urine and whatnot, potentially going into the ponds there and creating bacterial and things that would be contrary to the health of the wildlife. And we have a lot of wildlife at Sterling Park. Actually, eagles have been spotted lately, so that's pretty exciting. But so if there was ever a dog park there, what difference would it make between Gladys, I always want to say Gladys Knight, the Gladys Douglas Preserve, and our ponds there, because the same thing would happen. I have a dog, I love my dog, but a lot of people get busy socializing at dog parks, and the dogs take off and they do their business and nobody really pays attention. So there's a good chance that the same kind of things would happen there and other places. The other thing that is a little bit spontaneous is I was thinking that I would like to invite you all to come to one of our condominiums and look out the window and see what we see. And we'd be happy to give you some beverages and some hors d'oeuvres, and then you could watch the beautiful sunsets, watch all the beautiful birds and wildlife that come in and out of there. So let me know who I would talk to about arranging that, and I will do that. Then a real quick note is every Wednesday night, most of us from our area, and not just the condos, but other areas, Fairway Estates and whatnot, meet at the golf club to have happy hour. And we love it. We've been told we bring $10,000 to $12,000 in a year. Just that one night we show up there a week. So we'd really love it if you could think of a way of keeping that open. Maybe a tent with the bar outside or something, and just sandwiches would be great. We're not too demanding, maybe some chips. But if you can figure out a way to keep that open in some fashion, we'd really appreciate it. And I just want to give the clerk a copy of the information from the Gladys. It's actually Virginia Lamberton. Okay.
Thank you, Virginia. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that is not on the agenda? Welcome. Give us your name and
Thank you.
address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Marta Kellum. I live at 925 Gulfview Boulevard, and it's nice to meet all my neighbors. I didn't know we'd all be here together. First of all, I want to thank you humbly for honoring my son with the
Scholarship.
The Dog Leone Scholarship really meant a lot, and he has enjoyed every minute of his service, and it's been very hard for him to consider taking a break while he goes to college.
Yeah.
I'm like, but he'll be back. He'll be back regularly. Secondly, I walk in Sterling Park every day, almost. I love the birds. There's lots of birds there. Years ago, I got a Swift Mud grant to create water conservation projects for kids at a private school in Palm Harbor. I'm pretty sure Swift Mud still does that stuff. It's an option.
They do.
As well as I love the other guy's idea about giving opportunities for veterans to get rehabilitation there. This is how I'm going to conclude. Both at the golf club, which, yeah, we want it to stay open if we can. We would love that. But at both the golf club and Sterling, please save the trees as much as you can. Because we don't know how to do eviction notices for animals. And there's a lot of animals living out there in all of those fields. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Given the fact that this is the first evening meeting, I'm watching everybody go like this. So it kind of feels like we might need some shades up there, some automatic things that,
Yeah, those are shades on those windows. We,
oh, up there?
Yeah.
Did they
Yes.
go down? That's part of our problem. We're just getting to know all this stuff, so bear with us, because I'm like, where?
Somebody get a ladder. We'll figure that out by next
Where's
meeting, Mayor.
Jorge? Jorge knows everything.
He's going to come running down the stairs into the
He
chambers. and-
probably will.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can figure.
There we go.
Oh!
I did that on purpose. I knew exactly how to do that, and I pressed a little button underneath here. And
That's the panic button. Well, that's couple of them. Oh, look, I see a clicker over there.
yeah, as a clicker. There we go.
Okay, we need one or two more. That's cool. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll let them worry about that. But just a couple of things before we move on.
I just want to say Bond, James Bond.
I know. Very cool. Okay, couple of things. So there was 3 subjects discussed. Sterling, the golf club, and ADA. So on Sterling, and we want you to come every meeting and talk, so I don't want to make you feel bad. But for those watching that may not watch often, we've heard you. We've heard everything. We've gotten all of your documents. We thank you for all the hard work and your participation. I did want to correct a couple of things. We're going to have a workshop to discuss it. There won't be a vote there. You'll have plenty of opportunity to speak to it. We're not going to do anything without you. So I don't want you to feel like you have to be here every 2 weeks. I swear to God, we will tell you when we're going to talk about it. But you are more than welcome, and I'm not trying to discourage you. The other thing is when we talked in January about, or had that meeting, when we closed the park in 2020 and talked about getting public input, and when you say it never happened, it was because of COVID. That's why it never happened. We had that meeting in January of this year, but it took us that long to get there. Given all the things that we had to do through COVID that took us off the task. So I don't want anybody listening to this to think that we did not do what we said we were going to do, because we did. It just ended up a lot later. Some of the trees that have been removed have been reviewed by our arborist, and either they're invasive, or they have health issues, or they're not stable. So we didn't just arbitrarily go take down trees. I want to assure everybody of that. We are a tree city, and and we have an arborist on staff. The fronds at the pond, we saved a lot of trees. The fronds for the pond, there were issues there. I don't remember them all, and I'm sure Jennifer doesn't either, but there was a reason. The city took them down. It's not some stranger. We took them down, but there were reasons for it, and I don't know if you remember, Jennifer.
Yeah, it was impeding the drainage.
Yeah, because
So-
we talk about stormwater drainage, but
Right.
then you talk about the nature part, and sometimes those things don't go together. And when we talk about a stormwater education area, as you mentioned in the article that was in the paper, we have been talking about stormwater projects and education in that park since day one. So I just want to assure everyone, we are listening. We have had the best intentions from the beginning, and we promise we will not move forward without you. So I want to relieve you of those thoughts. Regarding the ADA, Jennifer, I know
Yes.
that you and your team have met with Dwayne, with
Yes.
our architect, with our construction people, whatever. Do you want to talk about
Yes.
that? Because some of the things that we're saying, that it's not a priority and that we've ignored these things. The building just opened.
Right.
We're working through the kinks. But we have taken this nationally certified coordinator and gone above and beyond to try to address the issues, and we're working on them. But I will turn that over to you because you've been a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. And first of all, I want to say to Mr. Wright, Dwayne Wright, that I appreciate his time. He's highly qualified in the work that he does, and he has spent many, many hours, I'm sure Dale was involved in that as well, reviewing our new building and ADA accessibility and all those other aspects within our new building. He did a walkthrough with our architect and a member of staff. And first of all, had given us a long list, and then did the walkthrough with the architect and a member of staff. And there are things in the building that need to be adjusted. And our architect really went through that list, agreed with him on some, disagreed with him on others, and we're still working through that list. We then sat down with our architect and our contractor, Manhattan, and divided that into what is a design issue and what is a construction issue. And I can give you an example of something that was a construction issue. On the top floor, on the balcony, there is a fire extinguisher, right? And it's in a casing, and the casing sticks out from the wall more than 4 inches. That was not part of the design. What happened was that it was actually, the fire extinguisher was behind a locked door. Our inspector failed that inspection and said you have to bring it out on the balcony where it's accessible for everybody. Manhattan put that architect in the casement, and it stuck out too much, and it's something that we need to fix. So that's just kind of an example of how that type of a thing occurs. So the second part of that is design-wise, and as far as the swing onto the toilet, from a wheelchair onto the toilet, that is a design issue. So Jennifer Cowan is currently working on an agreement that we will require of our architect, Harvard Jolly, to fix that in total at their expense and not the expense of the public. And that will occur before a full CO of this building is issued. Right now we're under something called a TCO, which is a temporary certificate of occupancy. And so those things, we have undertaken those things. I know it seems slow, but there is a lot to review and a lot to talk to our architect and our contractor about in those regards. So we are paying attention to it. It is a priority. It is very important on my list of things to do. And so if there's any message that I can convey out to all of you today is that it's not important to us. So we wanted to get through the grand opening. And because it is a fait accompli, it was on, and then we'll take care of these other issues at the cost of the contractor and the architect and not the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And then the final subject, the golf club clubhouse and the opening. We did discuss this on Tuesday. We also discussed it when we did the license agreement on, I think it was May 18th. The staff is putting together the scope of the RFP for a restaurateur and going to bring that back. And they're going to enlist the help of experts to discuss how any of this could happen or may not happen. So all of that is coming back. They are currently recommending for it to be closed because they need the parking lot for staging. and there's no other place to put all the construction equipment. That's one of the reasons, plus a new restaurateur will want to come in and do their own remodeling, and they can't do that while the restaurant's open. And we don't have a restaurateur. They're not going to want to come in and operate at a loss. But the staff is going to review all of this. They are also coming together with a proposal of, if it does not remain open, where the groups that meet there can go within a city building. We have plenty of rooms that folks can use. We have a kitchen at the community center, we have a kitchen at the MLK Center, and we have a kitchen at the Hale Center. So there is plenty of open rooms for any of these groups to use, and they're going to come back with a proposal of what that might look like. So we're working on all of it, we're considering it all, but it's not quite as easy as you think because there's a lot to it. Whenever that's going to come back to us sometime over the summer, correct, Jennifer?
Late summer, towards the end of summer for sure, yeah.
But we just don't know the answer to that, and we want to leave it to the experts. So that's on that subject. So thank you guys for coming out and speaking to those items. We appreciate it. We've got two more things. We've got a couple of action items. All right, so the first action item is the first reading of ordinance 23-05, third amended Fenway Development Agreement. As I mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, we've received any number of email communications, maybe some phone communications, about concerns about noise and any other given number of things, traffic, et cetera, and a number of events. And so I have spoken with the city manager and the city attorney, and given those items, we want to give full consideration to those items, have time to talk to a few folks that have emailed. Again, very similar to Sterling Park. We want to be able to communicate with people. We also have to have time to communicate with Mainsail. We have received a negotiation from the Edgewater Drive Committee that was done with Mainsail, that Mainsail has accepted, that the city was no part in. And so a lot of these things need to be reviewed. So for those reasons, we are asking to table this item. We don't have a date certain because we don't know how long a new negotiation, or if it's a new negotiation, how long that will take. So I'm asking for my colleagues to give me a motion to table.
Second.
Okay, that is Commissioner Franny and Vice Mayor Tornga. Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. It will come up, and I know we've all seen all the same correspondence, so I think it's a good day to do this. The second item under action items is the second reading of ordinance 2302, deleting and revising our taxation and business tax receipt in its entirety and then replacing it. Staff has requested that that item be postponed to a date certain, which is June 22nd at a regular commission meeting. Can I have a motion to postpone?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Commissioner Franny and Vice Mayor Tornga. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And then we have the proposed agenda for June 22nd commission meeting. Anybody have any recommended changes? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
That's the second reading of the ordinance 2302.
I said second reading.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry.
I did.
Standing down.
I just read what it said, and it said second, so I must, there you go.
Move approval.
Okay, Commissioner
Second.
Franny, Commissioner Gao, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And then we have one informational item. I am going to look to Rebecca, our city clerk, who has an announcement.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the Dunedin Citizens Academy applications are up on the website. And so the Dunedin Citizens Academy will be August 15th through October 10th. So if it's something you're interested in, please get your application, as we're getting quite a few in. And so we will do a random drawing for those 24 lucky citizens to be able to participate. And we will be accepting applications until June 22nd. So please, if you're interested, give us a ring if you have any questions, but all the information's on the website. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Jennifer, anything else for the good of the order?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Okay. All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight.